Over here in the corner, you guys can barely see him. Mr. Matt Santos is here with the Mile High Radio Show. And your podcast.
Mile High Show!
Yeah, right.
Well, how was that for an intro? That was Mr. Chris Berry taking the stage at the Windsock Lounge in Prescott, Arizona. And we are here recording during the Sunday Afternoon Blues Jam, brought to you by the Northern Arizona Blues Alliance that Mr. Chris Berry heads up here along with Scott O'Neill. Now, Scott runs this Blues Jam every other Sunday at the Windsock Lounge. It is, I can't see it now. 1865 Iron Springs Road in Prescott, Arizona. You get to Prescott, ask anybody. They know where Windsock Lounge is. We'll put a link to their social media and website on the show notes here. But every other Sunday. So today, June 3rd, they'll be back June 17th. And according to Chris, they're booked out for about a year or so from here. So they will be here every other Sunday for the next foreseeable future. And they are showcasing not just the blues, but some of the best musicians in the Southwest. Not just Arizona, not just Prescott, but in the Southwest. These guys and ladies are incredible. I've been watching them play over the last couple of days in a couple of different places. Some of these players were up at Jersey Lily last week when I was over there with Glenn Walker and taking some photos and stuff. It's just incredible the level of musicianship and artistry floating through and in Prescott, Arizona. Leslie Lyman sitting over at the bar right now. Some other familiar faces. Right now it is Chris Berry on the stage with Scott O'Neill. So we're going to sit down and talk with them. I'm going to enjoy some music. But in between breaks and then after the show, they run from 2 to 5. We will be sitting down and talking with Chris Berry and Scott O'Neill because they got a couple things to promote, not just this show that they do every other Sunday, but they have a blues festival coming up June 30th, Saturday, June 30th at Watson Lake here in Prescott, Arizona. Free admission. There's no charge for the festival. But there is, just because it's a city park, there's a $3, I believe it's $3, couple of bucks, parking to get into the lots, to get in the gates. But the festival itself will be no charge. There's 6 or 7 bands, including a man that just stepped up to say hi, Mr. Dennis Bennett. He will be playing with Clause and Effect. Now, he was on our show last week with number 174 with Darren Mahoney from Second Chance. Dennis is also with Clause and Effect, a blues band that will be playing at that festival. Of course, Christian Berry will be there as well, Scott O'Neill. And Chris, just before he went up on stage, he handed me this new CD. It is a double EP. It's actually a double album. He said there's like 20-some songs on here. And it's a brand new release from the Electric Swamp Poets band and duo. Gator Tattoo is the title. Gator Tattoo by the Electric Swamp Poets. It's a double EP, and it features Christian Berry, Don Witcher, Gary Van Slyke, and Steve Tansey. They make up the Electric Swamp Poets, and this is their brand new double EP CD. You can get it and a membership to the Blues Alliance for $10. You can't go wrong. But we're going to sit down and we're going to talk to Chris. We're going to talk to Scott about the festival on June 30th. I think I'm playing a part in that. We'll firm that up too. But June 30th, Saturday from noon to 5 at Watson Lake in Prescott, Arizona. And then they've got another one on Labor Day weekend at Goldwater Lake, I believe. And that will be a blues harp blowout, highlighting the harmonica players from in and around Prescott, as well as the rest of the Southwest are coming up. It's going to be a blast. Labor Day weekend, I believe that is also a noon show on September 1. But just some great music up here. So sit back, enjoy my conversation with Chris Berry that we'll get to in a little bit, and Scott O'Neill, and we'll see who else we can drag up on mic. And we'll have some other music peppered through from the Electric Swamp Poets. I'll pull some off of this EP. Christian Berry, he's a fascinating guy. We were talking, swapping stories off mic. He is from the San Francisco Bay Area as well. He grew up there a little bit before I did because he's an old man. But he has some great stories about palling around with the likes of the Santana Band, Journey, who he grew up with, Chrome, a bunch of other bands and clubs that I came into a little later. He was palling around with them in the early 70s. I started hanging around in them same clubs in the 80s. We started swapping some stories. We'll see if he can't tell a couple of those on mic. So, again, enjoy the 175 edition of the Mile High Show, recorded live at the Windsock Lounge in Prescott, Arizona. Dirty, filthy musicians is what I'm sitting with. This looks really shady. What's going on right now? Who brought the dice? Man, look at this. This looks really bad.
It'll really look bad when you start seeing the pennies and the nickels.
Go ahead. Everybody pay attention. Chris has a story.
We had this it was a big pot. It was a big kettle, pot. And it was really big, so whenever people would throw tips in there, you couldn't see it because it would go down, and it was cast iron, so it was black, and the money would go down in the shadows, and you couldn't see it. So I would always say, look, this pot is too big. Can you please contribute so the band can go out and get a little pot, and that way.
All right. Well, hey, guys, thanks for sitting down and chatting. What an afternoon I have been missing out on.
Oh, my gosh.
I've been seeing the posts that you guys have been doing about this.
Hey, you thought we were lying because we were musicians?
Well, no, because I know you, and I've talked to you before. But what a great turnout.
It's like this every week.
Yeah, aside from the crowd that was here, because it was a great crowd, the level of musicianship, the artistry that was up there. What
but you know what? He said it was actually, this was the slower of all the past ones, which was amazing to me because I didn't think so.
At the Windsock, 2 p.m. to 5 p.m. every other Sunday.
Yeah, so 2 Sundays from now, we'll be back.
This will go up later this week, so June 17th is the next time you're around.
Yes.
Yep.
And you being Mr. Christian Michael Berry and Scott O'Neill.
Yeah,
how are
two
you?
of them.
Oh, we're good. I'm good.
Now, how long have you
We've
guys
been known to be
doing?
in the same place at the same time.
Is this the Scott O'Neill Jam, or the both of you? Or
Yeah.
It's the Scott O'Neill band that hosts it.
Yeah, I just come to support
I'm
them.
put it together.
And who's in the band with you? Let's let everybody know who it is.
I have Gary Van Slyke on bass and Dr. Bob Cellini on drums normally, but he's on the other side of the planet right now, so we had to bill.
Intentionally, or
Yes.
you get ran out of town? What's going on?
Yeah, we told him to get out of here.
He had some
So
shady
we had
characters
Bill Riley
following
on
around.
drums sitting in with us today.
Nice.
Yeah.
And that's the core. And
That's the
then
core.
just a whole concoction of everybody else popping in and blowing the doors off of the Windsock.
What happened? We kind of were starting to do a blues scene, and it was hard to get it going on at first, and we had some inconsistencies before.
Yeah.
So, and I got tired of doing it by myself, and then some time went by, and talking to Scotty, and Scotty says, "Hey, I'd like to kick it on." and he came over here and got it going here. And, man, it's just been going
Yeah.
full tilt boogie ever since.
Now,
you
how
know.
long have you been here at Windsock? How long has this been
We
the
started
regular?
in March.
So a good few months. Nice.
Yeah. But I am.
And it started out like this.
It
It was
owned a
packed.
bar on Whiskey Row, and we used to do the blues jam there. So everybody pretty much, when they see my name, they know what's
Legendary
going
bar. What was it?
on. Scotty's.
Scotty's
And
down,
it was
down
Sundance,
below.
and it was Sundance was
Sundance's too,
before
yeah.
that.
When did it change from Scotty's? It was your club.
Right.
What years did you run it?
I ran it from 2001 to 2007, and then we ran it from 2011 to 2013.
As
You
what?
know what?
Well, in 2011 it became Scotty's. Before that it was Sundance's.
Okay, Sundance. I moved out here in '04,
Right.
and it was one of the spots that really reminded me of some of the little bars I used to hang out in San Francisco. I'm from the San
yeah.
Francisco Bay
We
Area.
were talking about that.
And I walk in, and it was dark, and it was grungy, and they had Guinness
Could you
on
smell the
tap.
bathroom
It
from the
was
stage?
great. I
Yeah.
loved it.
It was a great little dive bar.
No, I was
you know
perfect.
that-
I loved it. Now,
You know,
were-
my wife, my very first date with my wife was at Scotty's bar. I think it was called Sundance's.
Yeah.
And she didn't even know I was a musician. I took her out on my first date, and I
That's
was there,
why
and
she
the
went
band,
out with you.
his band was up playing,
He's still
and
not
they
a
asked me to
musician.
sit in with them.
Had she known you were a musician, that date
Yeah, that
never
would
would
have been
have.
over with. Yeah,
Now, do you
forget it.
remember? Because for me, I mean, this is a nice spot. The Windsock is a great spot. It's well lit. There's windows. So the Matt
First for
of
us.
25 years ago probably wouldn't have stepped foot in this place.
No.
My favorite
We've been
spots
kicked
were the
out of better
dark,
places than
dank
that.
bars.
Yeah.
Now you
The saloons,
spent
yeah.
a lot of time in San Francisco. Frankie Afuga,
Yeah,
the corner
Lucky
of
Strike.
Turk and Taylor, Frank's 21 Club, was my regular haunt from when I was about 16
Oh, man.
to about 28, 29.
16.
Yeah, it was a great spot. I've spent several nights sleeping in his basement in a little crawl space under the bar.
We were talking about the 1232 Saloon earlier,
Yeah.
and this is true. This saloon, the stage is here, and the bathroom was right here.
Yeah, you had to
and they would
basically
put,
go on
They would
stage
put
to go to
ice
the
in the urinals because it smelled so bad, and you would get every time someone went in there. You hope somebody came behind him and
Yeah.
sprayed room deodorizer because, man, you were bombed out of the stage for an hour afterwards.
So how long have you been in this area? Or is this hometown for you?
No, I'm actually from Michigan originally, but I've been in Prescott for almost 20 years.
Nice.
In fact, 20 years this year. So
What brought you here from Michigan?
a car.
A car. And this is where it broke down.
I grew up in Michigan, and I lived in Phoenix for about 20 years also.
Oh, wow.
My son and I moved back to Michigan for a year, but I was there for like 2 months, and I knew this wasn't going to happen.
Yeah.
So we came back, and I didn't want to go back to Phoenix. So we stayed here in Prescott, and I love it here.
So what year did you get here? What year did you land here? Don't make me do the math.
98.
98. What was the music scene like then? I'm assuming, just by looking at you and watching you play, music has been in your life from get-go.
You see the scars?
Forever.
So what was the music scene like for you when you got out here?
Actually, there was a lot more live music then.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was a lot more live music then.
Yeah.
You know, the bar scene it's going by the wayside, and for us older people,
Stop looking at me, man.
like Les, it's really dying out. And yeah, I mean the younger kids, you know, they cater to the younger kids in the bars.
Yeah.
You know? The music scene.
Getting
But,
those
there's
kids from the
still-
college and stuff. Yeah.
There's still a whole herd of us out there
Yeah.
that love the blues. So, and
And we're too old to
this
go out and
it's
spend all
evident
night out in
here.
the clubs now. So we're,
Yeah,
during the
your
daytime,
idea of a
so-
late night is that
Nowadays?
5
8
o'clock ending at the Blues Festival on June 3rd. We'll get to that. late night.
Yeah.
It's almost time for the early bird special at the Golden
Yeah, got-
Corral.
yeah.
They,
Time for the early bird special.
they wheel us out of the old
But
folks,
what was the flavor? Was there a lot of blues? Was it a lot of rock, or was it mainly country, or just a great mix?
Back then, I think Matt's was the only country bar.
Yeah, there was
Really?
a lot of classic
And,
rock, I remember. And
Yeah,
a lot
there
of,
was a lot of classic
there was a
rock,
lot of
and there
bars
was a
on
lot
the Whiskey
more,
Row.
Not a lot more blues bands playing.
Nice.
But
Nice.
we're doing our best to keep it alive.
Now, is that your roots, blues?
Yes.
Yeah,
Now,
American
what-
roots music.
Tell me about your growing up in Michigan. What were you listening to? What kind of time frame we talking about?
Oh,
Because you're what, 38, 39?
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Matt.
Trying to get that Northern
I'm
Arizona
actually
Blues
40,
Alliance
man.
to sponsor the show.
Yeah.
Got to butter you guys up.
I grew up listening to rock, like Led Zeppelin and Jeff Beck
Yeah.
and Eric Clapton, and I one day I decided to read who actually wrote the songs
Yeah.
they were playing and look into it, and that's when I figured out that,
I think that's
where the
kind of
blues
true,
was
really,
at.
for both of us, because if it hadn't been for the British invasion groups doing
Yeah,
American
yeah.
blues music, a lot of us might not have ever discovered the blues.
Yeah, what's
you
that
know?
old saying? Yeah, thanks
Yeah.
to the Beatles and Zeppelin for introducing America to their own
Yeah, a lot of-
music.
yeah.
Yeah,
It's true.
B.B.
It's
King
true.
said
John
if it wasn't
Mayall,
for those British boys, we'd all be
Savoy
out of work.
Brown.
Yeah. So you're listening to that hard rock scene with the blues influences. What was what
That
else
was the cool stuff.
No, what else was going on in Michigan at the time? Was like MC5 in?
Ah,
in
yeah.
there?
Well, I grew up in Ann Arbor, and that's where the University of Michigan is, and there was a big music scene there. That's
Yeah.
where Bob Seger went to Ann Arbor High School, and Ted Nugent, he played around there. Grand Funk Railroad.
Yeah.
I could go on, but I can't. Can't think of them.
But the blues is what kind of grabbed you at a young age.
Yeah.
When
yeah.
did you pick up the guitar first?
Actually, I got a picture of me when I was like 4 years old, standing
playing
on
guitar? Yeah, I got
standing
one of them,
on
too.
table
On a
with
pony?
guitar. I didn't play it quite as good then, but
Yeah.
I've learned a couple licks since
Cut
then.
a couple new songs since 5. It was guitar been your instrument of choice. That's what you've been playing.
I played drums for a few years when I was a kid. And then I went in the Navy. Well, I played guitar when I was a kid too, but I went in the Navy, and when you're on a ship, it's kind of hard to keep a drum set from rolling. So I picked the guitar back up. And,
Now, what about the bass? We saw you playing bass a little bit tonight, and
Yeah.
I tell you, your partner here, your cohort here, did not have some nice things to say about you picking that
What?
up.
No,
I'm going to
I
sell you
didn't
out.
say a
He
thing.
kept hollering, "It's the knob on the right." It's the knob.
Oh, that's what that volume. You couldn't hear him at first.
No, I guess I play bass as well as I do because I played drums for years.
Yeah.
And the drums and the bass, that's the thing that drives the band.
The backbone.
That's the rhythm section.
Yeah. Nice.
So-
Now, what was the first band you were in? Were you doing some garage band stuff, high school stuff, or?
Yeah. I remember the first time I played in public was at lunch at my junior high school.
Yeah.
And they had the lunchroom was in the auditorium. They had a little stage, and it was a drummer and another guitar player and me.
So you were on guitar at that point?
Yeah.
What'd you guys play? Do you remember?
Oh, Louie.
Yeah.
everybody did that.
The things
Oh,
that
yeah.
you have to play in junior high.
Chuck Berry, of course.
Yeah.
Any guitar player that hasn't played Chuck Berry
Or
Do-
with Chuck Berry.
you-
start right.
Do you remember what it was like when you first plugged in front of people?
Yeah, it was scary.
Yeah?
Yeah, it was scary then. Now, I told this to a lot of people and they don't understand it, but I feel more comfortable standing up and singing in front of 500 people than I
Yeah.
do actually talking to three
Like
of us
this.
right
True.
now.
It's true.
So we can
That's it.
expect
We're
him to
used it
bolt
now.
for the smoking room in a few minutes? Is
Yeah,
that what- No, yeah, we Les and I were talking about that last night, and he was, we went up. We were up in Flagstaff last night. Les and I, not a serial killer lineman, and he was saying the same thing. He goes, the where he feels most comfortable is as soon as he plugs in and starts playing. For me, my
our mode
roots,
of
I'm a
expression.
photographer by trade. When I'm out and about, if I don't have a camera, I feel like I'm useless because I pretty much am. I have no other skills, but I feel naked. It's like, what do I do? What do I do? I can't go. I've covered so much news and sports events and concerts and stuff over the years. I can't go to a basketball or football game unless I'm working it, because all I'm doing is thinking, how would I shoot this? How would I like this? What would I do here? I feel like I don't belong. Hand me a camera. I'm fine. I don't care if it's 20 people or 20,000 people. I feel okay. If I'm in front of 10 people without a camera in my hand, I feel like I don't know. I get a little anxiety attacks going.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's weird how you get attached.
I have a hard time talking to people, too. Yeah. It's funny he mentioned that, because I literally have to psych myself up to book the band, even to call up the club owners. And
I understand that can be a little tricky as well when you book jobs that you're not sure you got. Yeah. Tell me what happened the other night in Flag.
Well, we were supposed to play a gig in Flagstaff.
We being who? You and Don?
Me and Devil Don Witcher. We were doing a duo. And then we were playing another gig in Cottonwood afterwards. Anyway, we're sitting at our gig in Flagstaff, and we're trying to hurry up and get done, and this woman comes by, and she goes, "Wow, you guys are playing everywhere." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she says, "Well, I just passed this club, and they got a big sign out front said you're playing over here." I said, no, yeah, we're playing next month. She goes, no, the sign said you're playing in 2 hours. So I said, Don, I'm packing up the equipment. I go, Don, run over there and find out what's going on. Yeah. And it come to find out, he had booked us in this club. Thank God the owners owned both clubs, and they just got the dates inverted. Gotcha. So we were actually in Flagstaff instead of Cottonwood. Thank God we were already in
Flagstaff. You notice how he throws Don Witcher under the bus on that one.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Well, of course he's not
Don's
here to defend himself.
You know who you need is Reuben Kincaid. He did a dynamite job managing the Partridge Family way back when.
Yeah.
So this Sunday Blues Jam every other Sunday. So rotating weeks.
Sunday
is
right now we're booked through the end of this year.
Oh, nice.
And we're not booked farther because Connie hasn't started booking for next year.
Yeah.
The only hiccup in the schedule is it would be July 1st.
Okay.
But we are doing, that's because we're doing the thing the day before, June 30th at Watson Lake.
Everything kind of in this town gets turned around that last week of June, first week of July, with the rodeo, the parade, the 4th of July.
Parties for a week.
So that's kind of a different, now, I want to get to that, but the banners you had up here, this Blues Jam and the couple of festivals we're going to be talking about are being presented by you guys on behalf of the Northern Arizona. Tell me a little bit about the alliance.
Actually, we're an affiliate of the International Blues Foundation based in Memphis, Tennessee, and affiliate chapters throughout the U.S. and over 60 countries.
Nice. He comes prepared, this Scott. I'm gonna put this so that they can hear.
25 chapters all over the world.
He brought notes.
I look at him. Yeah, I know.
He is prepared. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say that although its origins are from Africa, blues music in many forms is a truly American art form, and almost every other genre of music that we listen to today, including rock, jazz, and country and soul, are all deeply rooted in the blues. Our mission is to preserve this art through history, education, live performances, and recorded music.
Now, and I want to hear about that, preserving the traditions and things, because obviously when we come to a festival or we come and catch you guys playing at a club or like at the Windsock here or wherever, we're seeing it in action. We can see that. But what else are you guys doing? What's entailed in that other than the performances? How are you?
Well,
what's your goal?
There's a lot of history for one. There was probably, I know of at least a dozen subgenres of blues that went on. There was some Cajun stuff. There was some country blues. There was some Piedmont blues. There was some Chicago blues. And a lot of people don't realize there's
Chicago. What'd you Piedmont?
Piedmont, yeah.
What is that? Explain. I'm not familiar with that term.
There's all different sorts of genres of blues that if you get real familiar with them, they came from certain areas, and you can kind of pick out a little bit the influences.
The one for the non-musicians and the not real educated, I'm putting myself in there. the ones that really stick out, of course, the Chicago blues scene was different than the Delta blues scene,
Delta blues, yeah.
with some similarities,
Piedmont
but
has a
some
little
very
more of a
different.
jazz influence.
Now, what is where's that from?
It's from Virginia.
It's
from Virginia.
You're not on my
Coast of Virginia.
Piedmont is a region in Virginia.
Virginia.
It's
okay.
from the coast. It's from the coastal area of Virginia and North Carolina, and it's like it's really very close to a country blues.
Yeah.
It's really yeah.
You're not. It's not going to pick you up.
The chords are a little different than
Yeah.
straight ahead. Here, let me back up and digress for a second and think about blues.
He's gonna
one of the
digress.
only genres that I know of where you can go in and you can call out a song by number. You can say, "Hey, go to the 4, go to the 5, go to the
Yeah.
1." There's a lot of other genres you can't really do that with. You can once you've played blues for a long time, then you
Yeah.
understand it. And if you're around musicians who know their instruments and know music, then you can do that. But blues is no matter what style or genre, you can call it out by number, and
Nice.
you know you're supposed to go to the fourth chord and the third position or whatever by number.
So part of.
that's-
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Chris.
So that's kind of what we're talking about. You'll have various regional influences that will go a little bit different from that. I'll have a little bit different feel
Yeah.
or a different drum beat or a different chord thing, but it still has that root of American blues or American roots music blues. And
So, Scott, the mission statement as far as what you guys want to accomplish with the Alliance, strictly through the performances by exposing people to them, or are you involved in other things as far as like just educational, as far as like storytelling and lessons or something? What are some of the aspects of that
Part of
mission
our
statement?
educational mission is to get blues in schools. It's
Okay.
like I said, the blues is a truly American art form, and it's in
historical art form.
This area, at least, it's getting lost. Nobody in the schools teaches the kids about it.
Yeah.
In January, I went back to Memphis for the International Blues Competition, and it really made my heart. It warmed my heart.
Yeah.
Because they had kid bands that were playing the blues.
Seeing that appreciation for the history, yeah.
So we're just, we'd like to get blues in the schools so they at least, do a week on, where it came from, who it was,
And how are you guys doing that? Have you started to do that to contact
we have
the
some
schools?
things coming up where we're going to be working with some of the libraries, where we'll actually be having some shows at the local libraries that are free, and the kids
Nice.
can come, and there'll be as guys. The person will be there playing, but also telling the stories about where that came from.
Have you gotten a chance to do that over in Chino yet?
Not in Chino, but it's coming.
No, get with me because I've got that
absolutely.
connection with the town and with
absolutely.
Scott
Scott's a
Bruner.
friend. I was going to say Scott's a friend of mine, too.
Scott and Darlene.
Funny story about Scott. When my album first came out, he came after me and he said, "Listen, I want to put that in the library system." So he came and got our album put in the library system.
What I'd really like to do, because as you guys know, and you're saying it, Scott, there's no funding, there's no anything out there. My son goes to a little charter school in Chino, and they don't have any music They do like a singing concert once a year kind of thing.
It's just been unfunded.
I took Sky Conwell out there, not last year, the year before. He came out and did in my son's kindergarten class
Cool
when he was
that.
in kindergarten, and just played songs for him, let them sing and stuff, and it was a blast.
I'll bet it was.
So
Sky's great.
they're out of school now until the last week of July, first week of August. But I'd love to be able to set up. You guys come out there maybe at
absolutely.
lunchtime
Yeah,
or
we'd
something
love
and
to
do
do
a
it.
little.
We would love to do it.
And again, not just the music, but to kind of explain. This is where it came
That's
from.
exactly what we
yeah.
did.
Beautiful.
We did that. I just did that last week in Flagstaff at the Flagstaff School of Music. I went out and performed.
Yeah.
I did the whole thing where I talked about this song is this style of blues and this is where it came from and so on. One of the other things I wanted to mention to you that we did recently too, there was a movie that came out called Sidemen: Long Road to Glory. And it was about the last bunch of sidemen that backed up Muddy Waters and Howlin' Wolf. The movie came out, and we went out with the movie, and we performed before the movie.
Oh, nice.
And then they played the movie, and then after the movie, we talked about, the genres and so on, and it's stories, road stories and so on. Had to do with the blues, and so there's another movie coming. I haven't had a chance to talk to Scotty about this, but we got another movie in the works that we're probably going to do that with.
Very nice. Please
So-
keep me informed on that.
Yeah.
Now, before we get too far into upcoming stuff, where can folks find out about the Northern Arizona Blues Alliance? Social media, website, whatever, and then talk a little bit about because you were really
Probably
talking it up.
The best one is the Facebook page. Everybody
Okay.
uses Facebook, so you can go on Facebook and look up Northern Arizona Blues Alliance, and
I'll put a
find
link
that
in the
page.
show notes too.
And we put everything on there first
Nice.
because that has the most popular social media.
You were talking and encouraging people to sign up and register, and there's next to nothing dues. What was it, $10?
Yeah, it costs like $10
What's
for a year.
involved in that?
Yeah.
Is it to get you on the list so you
It
can
gets you
keep
on our
updated?
mailing list, but it also gets you discounts for merchandise, discounts for tickets to shows, all kinds of stuff.
There was something you were talking about that they get with that membership.
Yeah,
Is that-
so
okay.
today, now normally a regular record, I would normally, when we would sell them, about $10. I know he sells his for $10. This is a double, just an example, this is a double album. And so I said, okay, I'm selling these for $10, but it comes with
the membership.
your membership. So you pay $10, you get to join NAZBA, and you get the record.
Now, what the record being Electric Swamp Poets, the band
that
and
particular
duo, Gator Tattoo, a double EP that was supposed to be, what'd you say, 12
it
or
was supposed to be
13?
two disc EP. It was a band EP of 6 songs and a duo EP of 6 songs.
So
all
12.
together one. But the
What's on there?
manufacturing company messed up, and they put the entire acoustic album on there, or duo album, on there. So there's 22 songs on
Oh,
there
my
when there was
goodness.
only supposed to be 14. So
Now, tell me who's on here. You got yourself.
The band is myself, and Gary Van Slyke, who you met, the bass player that played with the Blues Jam today, and he's on there. Devil Don Witcher, who you've met,
Yeah, I know Don.
and also Steve Tansey, who is another local yokel. that
Nice.
played with
Now they can get a copy of this by calling the number on the back.
Yep,
Or
they
you
can call
got
the number on the back down, or they can go on. Either our Facebook page and say, "Hi, I'd love to get that Swamp Poets album," or
And-
they can also go on. We also have a website that is just NAZBA.com. NAZ as in zebra, BA.com.
And the phone number 928-636-5766. Now
That's my number.
That's your number.
That's my personal
Is it-
number.
I thought I saw it on the restroom wall. Okay, now it's clicking. Why?
For a good time.
For a bad time.
For a bad time. For a bunch of lies and long stories. Now what? What do you got here, Scott? Your CD that you got here?
Yes, this is a double live CD that was recorded in 2005 on New Year's Eve, and it actually was 12 years in the making. We just got it packaged and out for
Where'd you record it?
consumption at Sundance's, actually.
My goodness, you got 12 on disc 1, 14 on disc 2. What do we got on here? Are these all covers, blues covers? You got some originals on there?
All covers, except for the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. The last 5 are original studio
These
cuts.
are all originals on the other one.
SOB. It's a family show. So that
Scott
stands
O'Neill
for
Band.
Scott O'Neill Band. A double live from 05.
Live
And
in
how
05.
how can they get that? How can people get this?
You can come to the Windsock not next week.
So live is how you get them.
That's right.
Then that's the
Right,
best
yeah,
way to
come
hear
live.
this
We like
music
to carry it around.
anyway.
Hey, come down and buy one, and I'll sign it for you.
We're
Very
always glad
nice.
to get rid of them because it's less stuff we have to put back in the car.
Now let's talk about June 31st.
June
And then we'll
30th.
get to September. So let's talk about that. Yeah, first.
Oh, okay.
June 30th. Oh, okay.
June 30th.
First, let's talk
Before,
about that.
yeah, that's it.
What are you trying to say? No.
What do we got coming up? It's Saturday.
It's
that
Saturday.
big weekend, the kickoff of the rodeo.
Oh, yeah.
Kickoff of the 4th of July stuff going on the following midweek.
That whole weekend, yeah.
Well, what do we
it's
got?
Day number 1 of
Well-
Party Central, and we're going to start out with a parade, the Frontier Days parade. Scotty's going to have his group out there, and they're going to be on a
we're-
parade floating down the road.
We're going to be in the cowboy parade. I keep saying we're going to sneak in the back.
Right
door,
on Whiskey
but-
Row.
Yes.
Yep.
And then what happens at noon?
And you go over to Watson Lake, and that's when we start our festival. And boy, it's just going
Nice.
to be one heck of a day.
Who do we got coming
Bring
up
your
on that
fishing
festival?
pole. Oh, there's a whole slew of people. There's
Claus and
my
Effect,
band, the
I know, will
Electric
be there.
Swamp Poets, will be
Okay,
there.
so the Electric Swamp Poets with you and these guys here,
and
including
these
Don.
guys here. Yeah.
Claus and Effect, who I just sat down and recorded with Dennis Bennett
Yeah, that's
and
last
Darren
week.
Mahoney from Second Chance, but Dennis is with
Claus and Effect.
Claus
yeah.
and Effect.
So they're going to be there. The Well-Dressed Wolves, which used to be called the Mods, they're going to be
Are they
there.
out of the Verdi?
Yes, they're out of Virgin
Okay.
Valley, yes. Francine Cardinale is out of Sedona. She's going to be there. We're going to back her up. She's going to bring a couple of people of her band, which is Colt 45 is the name of her band.
Nice.
They're
Now-
not bringing the whole band. They're just bringing some of them.
Now, the whole festival taking place at Watson Lake.
Watson Lake.
And you were telling me it's going to be up when you come
Up
into
into the Ramada. When
thing.
you
up
first
at the-
come in, you just take that road straight up to the big Ramada. But
Now, no charge for the festival, but the city of Prescott, there's a parking
$3.
$3
but
parking.
You can
$3
load up a bus full
carload.
of people for
Yeah, so
$3
pack it
carload,
out.
so.
A lot of fun up there. Some
Yeah, grab
some
the-
sunshine,
Grab the
great
laundry
music, food and
change
beverage.
bring it up. So Harry O going to be on
Great
the
guitar
bill
player.
in his band.
So what's the format? Is it going to be a big jam? You got the bands coming
We're
in.
going to have bands.
progressive?
We have entertainers. B.D. Frank is going to open the show, and he's a solo entertainer. He's an old style Delta blues player. Plays all these old National Steel guitars and so on. Him and his wife Barbara. So they'll start off the show, and then after that we'll have a band. I believe Harry O is going to be the next band up. I'm pretty sure that's who comes up next. And then we also have a house band that will be backing up people that come up that didn't bring their whole band. And then we'll have individual bands as well. But then as we get towards the end of the day, we're going to open it up to just like here. We'll have all these people out jamming with the band.
Nice.
Yeah, so.
Man, this is going to be a blast.
Oh, it is.
$3 parking, 12 to 5-ish.
Yeah, exactly.
To be out there, just a great afternoon.
Until
of
they
some
throw
great
us
music.
out, you know.
And then again, that's your bedtime.
Yeah.
You know, when we get into
Well,
that
except that
AARP
I might bring
section.
my fishing pole, which means I might not get home till later,
Nice.
till dark. But you can definitely bring your fishing pole because there's a lake there, and they do stock it. And we encourage you to fish.
No, what a blast. Now, that doesn't end it. You're going to close out the summer September 1 out at the other lake on the
At
other side
Goldwater
of town.
Lake, yeah. And,
What's happening out there?
Well, it just so happens that Prescott, for once, has a dearth of blues harp players. There's just so many of them right now, and they're all really good, you know. And so what we decided was, why don't we feature them? So September 1st at Goldwater Lake, we'll have a blues festival there, and it's Day of the Living Blues Harp. So it's we'll have a
bands
house
backing
band
them up, but
and
we're
band-
highlighting
the blues
those
harps.
harp players.
So it'll be
Beautiful.
focus
Hey,
on the blues.
who was
harp.
this guy that started out with you
John
guys?
Callie.
John Callie.
Man, that
He's
guy
on the
was
bill
good.
for the blues harp.
Man,
festival.
he was
Yeah.
good.
There's some amazing. Usually the blues jam has quite a few of them.
Who's
there.
the guy with Road One South?
Jay Shermer. He's going to be there too. He's at the
I saw
festival
Dwight
as well.
Devlin, the drummer for Road One, sent me a message that
They're
I was
gonna back up Jay. Yeah.
and that
Yeah,
he
it's
that
pretty
his guy
amazing.
was playing. I couldn't
Well,
remember his
there's
name.
an ironic thing because I'm like the third string guitar player for Road One South.
Yeah.
So whenever one of their guys can't make it, they call me up and I fill in. And I've been playing with them for
Hired gun.
4 or 5 years. Yeah, hired gun basically.
Yeah.
And and I've seen every personnel change they've had.
Yeah.
But another bunch of people I hang out
So
with.
what's on tap for you, Scott? Every other Sunday, are you Scott O'Neill Band also touring around, or what do you got lined up?
We're just doing the Windsock thing right now.
Yeah.
Of course, we're playing at Watson Lake on the 30th. But
Guitar Shorty show.
Watson.
Guitar
We're gonna
Shorty.
we have Guitar
we're-
Shorty coming to town now.
When's that?
This is
I saw him 30 years ago in Oakland.
Oh
at the
he's
Oakland
coming
Blues
in, what,
Festival.
September 28th.
September 28th at the Orpheum.
At the Orpheum
Is he still
Theater in
rolling-
Flagstaff.
is he still
and
rolling
we're gonna
around on
put
his
together
back?
a little house. It'll be Scott O'Neill Band. I'll be playing with them, and we'll be opening for
when is
Guitar
this now?
Shorty at the Orpheum Theater in Flagstaff on September 28th.
September 28th. I'm there.
Yeah, we're way up.
Yeah. Oh man, that'll be
We
a
have
blast.
so many things going on. You know, we NAZBA represents all blues, everything blues.
Yeah.
From Phoenix north east border, the west border, and the north border. So everything in that area. So we actually have a division here in Prescott, which Scotty is the vice president of. We have a division in Flagstaff, which Bonnie Dumday is the vice president of, and a division in Sedona Cottonwood area, Verde Valley. And that's Dr. Bob Salaney. He's the vice president of. I'm the president
Now,
of the whole bunch. And,
Dr. Bob, is he? Did you say he's usually the drummer
He's
here?
usually the drummer here.
All right. Now you're flooded with doctors here. What's going on? Explain that to me.
Well, Dr. Bob he's a PhD in international finance.
He's an actual doctor.
Oh, finance.
Yeah.
Okay, so I can't like take a quick picture with my smartphone, ask him if it looks infected.
No, he can't
That's
fix
what I
your
shouldn't
broken
do.
arm,
Okay.
but he can fix your books.
Yeah, no, my books are beyond fixing. Trust me. Now, what about Dr. Tim?
Dr. Tim
Dr.
is
Tim
a
is-
doctor of tunes.
A doctor of tunes. Okay, again, not a big help to
doctor.
me because I got to figure out if this is contagious or not, and we'll get. That's a whole nother. That's a whole nother
Oh,
story.
this is all contagious.
I got to tell you now, I'll keep this clean for the radio.
No,
but
you won't.
we did a television show with Dr. Bob, and the host said, Dr. Bob, same thing, you're a doctor? And I said, yeah, he's my proctologist. and the woman host goes, well, that's really interesting. And Devil Don was with me, and Devil Don goes, oh, he's lying. He performs illegal abortions.
Yeah, my health plan.
Dr. Bob was sputtering. He's like,
My health plan's not so good. My urologist works out of a Buick behind the Circle K, right there in Chino.
That's what he told you,
Yeah.
right? Is your urologist?
That's what he said. I don't know. He had rubber gloves and stuff. It was cool. There's an unlicensed pharmacist that works over at the car wash behind Safeway.
We know about him. Yeah.
So, now, Scott, what was when you were, in previous, like you said, now you're kind of limited. You're concentrating here on the Sundays. Were you touring previous? What was the road like for you? What was your musical history? After junior high. What happened after that?
Junior high.
After that Louie gig.
After prison, death row, he swore he'd never
I-
kill another human being.
I played in bands for a long time, and then I had two sons, and I kind of put it on the shelf for a few years while they were growing up and concentrated on that. And then I just actually, when I moved back to Michigan, I started playing again with other guys. And then when I moved to Prescott, I just started putting bands together, and
Now-
they started out crappy and kept getting better.
Now, how'd you end up over? And it was Sundances before Scotty's, correct?
Yes.
How'd you end up at Sundances? And was it your club or were you working there?
No, actually, I went in one day to try and book my band, and I talked to the bartender, and she said, "Well, you're not booking out very far because the bar's for sale." And I thought, "Oh crap, okay." And then I got home. I think it must have been 2 hours later, and it was like the proverbial light bulb went off.
Hey, I can
Oh,
own
wow.
a bar.
Jeez, if I buy that bar, I'll have my own.
He's not the
Yeah.
doctor in the
And
band,
my-
by the way.
yeah,
He doesn't
my-
have the PhD.
My favorite saying about that was I bought a stage, and I turned around a week later and said, "Holy crap, there's a bar attached to this thing."
What was the early days of that like? Because I've heard stories about Sundances. What was the flavor of the bar?
It was pretty rough when I got it. It was pretty rough.
What was the clientele?
Imagine if I went on my
Um,
first date there, how rough it was.
Well, let me put it this way: there was nobody that came in that had money falling out of their pocket.
My kind of place, baby.
But it wasn't the other upper crust of society here in Prescott, but they were all good people, and
Yeah.
and I brought the blues in, and it people appreciated it.
Yeah. There's some metal influence in there for a while too, wasn't there?
There was.
Yeah.
Yeah, when we got it back, every time the end of the month was rolling around, we had to pay rent. We booked a metal act. And it worked. I was never there, but
Any stories that you can relate of mayhem?
None come
we
to
don't
mind.
we don't want to scare people away from the 30th show,
Yeah,
huh?
no G-rated stories come to mind.
Now we're all too old. Now we're just genteel. You come to the concert, we talk to you,
Yeah,
friendly and stuff.
We talk Northern Arizona Blues. We got the show on June 30th at Watson, September 1 at Goldwater for the Heart Blast. You got something coming up, and I just want to get it out there. You were telling me about where you're going back to the Bay Area.
Oh, yeah.
Tell me a little bit about that and your connection there. Why you're going back?
It's kind of a funny story because I have to tell you, this started at probably about 72. I lived in a hotel.
I asked him this so I can take off for a half hour.
Yeah, exactly, because it's a long. No, it started about 1972, and a bunch of us lived in a hotel in San Francisco above a bar, of course.
I need a drink for this.
Where there was musicians downstairs, and a lot of those people ended up doing something else, and they got better or became better known, and so on. And some of those people, one of them was a guy named Helios Creed who has the band Chrome. Which they're doing really good. And Robert Scott was one of them. He started a band called Cyclops, and out of Cyclops came Journey.
Yeah.
And a couple other bands. And Carlos Santana was one of the guys. And actually he took Neil Sean actually started out playing with Santana and replaced Robert in Journey.
Yeah.
So anyway. So there's a lot of these guys. So anyway, it just so happens we're all getting to the age where we may not see each other again. So we decided they're playing on June 11th at the Great American Music Hall in San Francisco, and I'm opening for Chrome. The following night, the guys from Journey are doing a concert, and I'm playing with them.
Nice.
And that's at a place called Music City in San Francisco. So it's just going to be just 2 nights of just whooping it up.
Oh, nice.
Tearing it up.
What a blast.
Oh, yeah. And then the next day I have to get on the plane with a hangover.
Anything else you want to cover in there, Scott?
I
feel bad. You did so much good research, and I derail us.
Yeah, well.
You only had one paragraph.
Actually, the only other thing I wanted to say was I wanted to thank Connie Kendall for letting us do the Blues Jam here.
Yeah.
God bless her.
That's a hard one in itself. Getting a club to go, sure, yeah, we'll let blues come in here.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I want to thank Connie, and I want to say,
Well, maybe that's
if you want a good time on Sunday, great people and smoking hot blues, come to the Windsock.
Yeah. What a blast it was. Well, I want to thank you for sitting down and chatting with me.
Oh, thanks for having
Chris,
us.
always a pleasure.
All right.
And what a great afternoon. I tell you, after last night and the last few days, I was wiped out.
I know.
But about
You had to
halfway
call for a designated driver.
about halfway through this, I just perked up and watching the crowd and listening to Les wail. It was such a blast, man.
Les's set was phenomenal, wasn't it? Did you see that?
Well,
what was the other guitar player's name, Les?
Jesse Platt.
Yeah, got a
two
chance
of
to
them.
see
Oh,
him.
my God, watch out
the
for
two of
that
them
guy.
together the other night at Jersey Lilies.
Yeah.
Now,
holy smokes.
Les was okay.
Yeah,
His
I know.
hair, fantastic.
He's been
Hair looked good today, too.
Les has taken a couple lessons lately. I think.
He still hasn't cut his hair, though.
All right, guys, thanks again.
Thank
Give
you.
it again. Northern Arizona Blues Alliance. Find them on Facebook. Show up. Festival June 30th, 12 noon. Festival September 1, Goldwater Lake, 12
One thing
noon.
we do guarantee is that no matter what we're doing, if you show up, you're going to have more fun than normally you're legally allowed to with your clothes on.
And on that note...